Hey, it's Gabriella, and I am going to be talking in this workshop to you today about how to build your email list. It's a really important tool as you're looking at marketing, and especially how so many things have changed and we're doing a lot less in person. Your email list is really, it's gold. It's really your treasure. And, the more that you can get authentic engagement and authentic followers and subscribers, the better you're going to be able to have, a higher level of success and really, really communicate your message to the right people, to the right audience. So remember, I guess if I leave you with anything amongst everything we're going to go through in just a few, I really would love for you to take away this. It is not always important how many numbers of subscribers you have. It matters the quality of subscribers. Anyone can buy a list. That's not what you're going to do, and that's not what you want to do. Anybody can try to acquire names and just try to put, random databases in your email list. That's not the way to go. You want to try to build it organically. You want to make sure that people are watching you the right way, and that you're attracting the right type of audience. Otherwise, there's really, no point. And you can do that easily with a lot of different tools. And I'll go through a lot of those today. Some you may be using, some not, but I think it's always good to talk, have a refresher, and think about also how to do things a little bit differently, as we move forward, because everything that we knew before has changed. If we had this conversation, 18 plus months ago, it might be a very different story. This is kind of how I see things now moving forward. Even, I updated this last year and I've still been updating it. But where I am right now, and, with all of these thoughts is that we have to be smarter with digital. We have to utilize a lot of virtual communication because in-person still is just not 100% back. So we have to be good behind the screen as well as we get ready for in-person opportunities. So let's go. So first of all, let's have a look at your website. Take a look and tell me if you have a pop-up bar when people visit. If people are visiting their website, chances are they want something, they want to learn something, and they want to know a little bit more about you. So that's already a bit of a warm lead. That's already somebody that is interested, didn't find you randomly most of the time. They either found you through a search, or they saw you somewhere and wanted to investigate, or they got an email from you and they wanted to check you out. The bottom line is that they're probably a little bit engaged. Right? So better than a stranger. So the first thing you want to do is put a pop-up, and it's a very simple thing. There's a lot of tools you can use. If you have a web developer, they can easily drop that in, or if you do things yourself on like Squarespace or whichever, it's an easy little add-in or plugin, whatever you want to call it. So when people arrive at your website, you've done this millions of times. You've gone to a website and people pop up. Sometimes stores will put a discount if you sign in. You could definitely do that. You could put a value in order to get people to sign up, or you could just say simply like I do on one of my sites, hey, glad you're here. Love to, if you join me on my journey, hop into my e-newsletter. So those, get captured, they get held in a database, and it depends again on which website, provider you're using. You can have it, held in an Excel sheet that you can continue to download every so often. Or with some of these smarter sites and systems, you can actually connect it to your email database provider. So everyone that puts their email address in just drops automatically into your database, and there you go, and you have everything. Okay. One caution with this is not to add too many pop-ups. They are annoying. I think that they're good when you first pop up and people, pop into the website rather, and then people will see, and then they decide if they want to sign up or not. If they don't want to, leave them alone. Don't keep reminding them. So I think one pop-up is good. If they close it out and they don't add, do not continue to prompt them because it negatively affects the user experience. So you want to make sure that you're just being careful, casual, respecting their time, respecting what they want to do. And if they don't want to, just move on. Okay, so a great way to get your name out there also is to do a lot of exchanges. Very few of us have budget. Very few other people have budget. This is a time, it was funny, I said we're sort of going back to barter times, like the trading posts. And I saw that happen last year too, more significantly when everything started to kind of ramp up with the pandemic. So I saw a lot of people wanting to do a lot of exchanges, a lot of trades. So this is a really great way to get your information out. So you have a lot to offer. A lot of this is geared towards travel industry, but for anyone watching this, I do a few different things. So for anyone watching this, really, it doesn't matter what, business you're in. What is your niche? What can you provide? What kind of messaging can you give to people, and what kind of value can you offer? Chances are, if you're doing this and you're building a business, you think you're a bit of an expert in what you do, and that you should. You absolutely should think you are wonderful at what you do, because you are. So, you have to be able and comfortable also to share that with people. So what's the best advice you can give somebody? Can you contribute a blog post? Think about different things that that other people don't, that you can really contribute some significant learning experience too. There's a lot of blogs out there. There's a lot of websites that will allow you to post your content. Medium is one, that's a big one, but many other niche sites. So for instance, I own a site called The Mogul Mom, and that's all about momming and working and being an entrepreneur and all of that. So I get so many requests for people wanting to do blog posts or exchanges. So in this case, sometimes I'll accept them and I'll give them one of my blog posts. And then we're promoting each other. So for someone on their site, they're seeing me and vice versa. And that's a really nice way to sort of, cross market with nobody having to exchange funds, which is excellent. So, think about like bloggers and niche sites that sort of center around a lot of what you do, something that's not directly competitive, but rather complementary, so that it makes sense. So for instance, on The Mogul Mom, we get a lot of people coming to us from finance companies or, car insurance or business insurance, things like that. So it's not, quite talking about entrepreneurial things, but it's talking about things you need as an entrepreneur. So think about that. If you're in travel, you can offer a lot of value to perhaps a business site or a road warrior site or something like that with your best tips. You can think about a fashion site if you know a lot about styling when travel and how to style your suitcase and that kind of stuff. So there's really a lot you can contribute. Think out of the box, and then just approach as many sites that make sense as possible and try to get some cross promotional efforts going. And then always put your email address, always put your website, and drive people to your site to be able to sign up and follow you. Podcasts are a really, really great venue as well to sort of, be able to tell your story in a way that you kind of can't, in a written post, because sometimes they tend to be more compact, especially if you're doing something on a trade basis. So there are tons of podcasts out there with people looking for guests constantly, and they could be business podcasts, they could be working mother, working father, single mother, single father, finance, you name it. There's a million podcasts for every topic that you can come up with. So these hosts are always looking for good quality guests, and they want people to listen to their podcasts. So it's in their best interest to promote every single episode. So you want to be there. And it's nice if they're really good interviews, then, interviewers rather, then it's really nice because they can actually, get you to tell your story and get you to share what makes you special in your business. Lots of times what draws even more attention is when you add a special value or a gift to the audience. In this way, the promoter is going to go a little bit more, above and beyond with promoting, because they know that their readers and their listeners are going to get something. So that doesn't have to be anything that costs money. That could be a special coveted list that you've curated of some kind of secrets, that about in your industry. It could be anything like that. In this way, it's also in your best interest to promote it, because you want the podcast numbers to go up too. So you want people to view it, want your friends and your family to listen to it. So it's just a nice way for you both to cross promote and for you to be able to verbally tell your story with a nice call to actions. Make sure you don't forget to share where people can find you. Okay, so Facebook groups, this is also hugely, hugely important. This is a really wonderful way to grow your base. And what's nice is that you can build an engaged community as well. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there that just accept everybody, and they've got 100,000 people, and they, it's like the Wild West. There's nobody moderating the comments. There's nobody, kind of checking in to see what kind of quality content is there. There's nobody posting consistently. You don't want to be that. If you're in any of my groups, especially my True Marketing group, which I'm really proud of and I love, it is distilled down to our niche. What is our niche? Exceptional, unique travel marketing. We like to talk about experiences. We like to share how you can better sell our clients and our destinations. So what did we want in there? Wonderful travel agents, just like yourselves, savvy planners, people that think out of the box, people that are comfortable with long haul and booking complex itineraries, but also booking close to home as well. And that's important. So you want to drill down your niche And you want to also figure out what your messaging is going to be in this group. Think about, like, if you're a user of a group, why are you joining? What are you expecting to get out of it? So the first thing that you do is when you're going to create a private group, think about that. Write down what you would want to see if you were joining this group. And you want to use it as a place to share your knowledge, share value, share the education and the information that you're getting. As it relates to travel, you don't want this to be a hard sell place. You do not. I see too many Facebook groups of people just posting, hey, $4.99 to Cancun, this and that. That's awful. I mean, that's not your market, and that doesn't attract the right type of people that you're trying to attract as you build and elevate your database. So what you want to do is a couple of things. You want to start a Facebook group that is a private group. You don't want it to be anyone and everyone can join. You want to keep control of it. And do not do this unless you're going to be committed. You have to be consistent and you have to be committed in order for this to work. And if you've seen our True Marketing group, you know this to be true. You want to start posting a lot of fun stuff, a lot of, questions that drive engagement. You want to talk about knowledge without sounding too much of a know-it-all. You want to sound authoritative rather, but you don't want to, you want to also promote conversation and thoughtful questions. So, you want to start posting consistently. And you want people to get used to your tone. You want to encourage people to respond to you, to share and engage. And also, there's different ways to do that. Of course, you want to share your knowledge. So if you, for instance, participated in a great webinar one day, take a ton of notes and just keep turning those into bites and share them every so often with great pictures, and drive questions. And, you can actually, for instance, if you have a photo of a hidden beach somewhere around the world, you can drop a few secrets about it and then follow it up with a question at the end of the post. Like, would you stay here? Is this your thing? Or are you more of a city, that kind of thing to get people talking. Another thing to do is to ask just straight up questions, you know what I mean? And asking people, are they liking things and what can you do better to help them, navigate through your group, and how can they get more benefit from being a member. So you want to make sure that your content is solid, that is consistent, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to keep posting. So I would say make yourself a schedule. It's a great idea to make an Excel schedule with your prepared content. But if you're like me and on the fly, things just come to me, I just post at will. Another thing that I'm sure you know about, but just in case, you can actually pre-schedule your Facebook posts in a group. You can drop, like, sometimes I do that at like 20 or 30 at a time. If I'm like, on a plane or if I have a little bit of extra time, I'll just create a bunch of posts. I'll schedule them to drop at different intervals. This way I know a couple of them are done, and then you don't have to worry about them. So there's lots of things you can do to make sure that you're easing up on you're not putting too much pressure on yourself, but you're being consistent. What you need to do is also add a setting on this group that requires administrative approval to join. So this way, it's going to take a lot of work, but you have to be able to review each person. There's a lot of bots on Facebook. There's a lot of people that want to infiltrate groups and pass strange messages out. You want to make sure that these people are, that they belong in the group, that they would make sense for what you're trying to promote. So you just want to keep, like, you can actually see every single day who's requested, your member requests and that kind of stuff. And you can see, is it a bot? Is it someone, does it look like a kid? Or, strange things can happen. So you want to make sure that you're approving the people that, that makes sense for your group. And another way you can do this and pre-qualify people is use a function called membership questions. So you do two things. You add administrative approval to join. So this way, not everybody can just pop in. You make sure that, everybody, it makes sense. And then the membership questions is a really great way to also drive new emails to your email list. So what I do, like, for instance, in my group, I ask, several groups rather, ask questions. Why do you want to join? Tell us a little bit more about you. Where do you work? You can ask a bunch of things. I think there's 3 or 4 spots where you can do questions. If people put the info, great. Sometimes they don't, but I like to ask, like, for travel, where's your favorite destination? And that kind of stuff. So that usually somebody will answer and learn a little bit about them. And then what you can also do, well, what you should also do rather, is in the questions, ask if they would like to join your email newsletter list. So this way, you know a little bit about them. If they put their email in, they're agreeing to be a part of it, which is great. And then every single time that you get a new request, you can review, and hopefully they would have put their email address in there, and you're further building your list. I have some groups that, I have one group called Working Moms of Peloton. I own a Peloton tread and bike, and I'm a little bit obsessed. So I run the Working Moms group. It is 30,000 people at this moment. It just vaulted. And we ask that question for every single person, so we get up to, sometimes 50 or 100 requests per day. We have to filter them. A lot of them are bots. We have to go through, we ask in that instance, we ask them what their leaderboard name is. If you have a Peloton, or even if you don't, what happens is you create a username, and it's called a leaderboard name. That wouldn't be so obvious to somebody who didn't own a Peloton. So right away, if they don't provide it, we think, oh, there's a little suspect. I'm not sure. Maybe they're kind of trying to come in to sell things, so we try to watch this. So they must provide that. And we ask them, do they want to be on our Working Moms newsletter? If they provide their email, great. And that email list has grown incredibly well, exponentially. So it does work. And then guests and members, lots of times, depending on their setting, receive notifications when you post things. So that prompts them to engage. Sometimes they'll see, Gabriella posted something on Japan, or, and then you'll see, or Gabriella added a new post. In the True Marketing group, a lot of people will just come on and say, oh, I love this. Or if we post a fam, that kind of thing. But in any case, we get a lot of engagement on our posts no matter what, because we are consistent, and we really, really try to give the users content that they can digest and also share. It's not just for us to keep. We want you to take it and share it. So think about how you can get people spreading your word. And very importantly, I'll say it again, you have to engage. Don't forget the group, stay committed, check it all the time, as much as you can. Not all day, but when I say all the time, as much as you can. For comments, because if people are taking the time to comment, you should take the time to contribute as well and respond to them. Not everything, but if you're asking a question and you're soliciting very meaningful responses where you're trying to learn, it is really good for you to talk back to people and make sure that you're, engaging with them. So here is the, you can just see this little arrow here. It says, welcome, what's your leaderboard name on the Working Moms of Peloton group? If they put things in there, great. And then we ask them, drop your email address if you want to be in the loop for mom chat opportunities, business support, work-life momming balance tips, and more, because that's the review of that newsletter. So you can put those things in there, and you can definitely create an additional list. So partnerships, also similar to the cross promotions, like we talked about the blogs and the podcasts, partnerships are the core of any successful lead generation campaign. It's written there. I'll say it again. You want to collaborate with brands, with companies, with sites that make sense, that you can extend your reach with. And also it's a cross promotional effort. So you have to think, who do you want to partner with first? And then second of all, what can you contribute to this partnership, and what can they contribute? And then secondly, what are you both getting out of it? The idea of a cross promotion is to take something that you're doing and expand the visibility on it to a list of people that would be interested in what you're doing. Chances are you can't reach them, because we can't reach everybody. It's just, that's why you need somebody else's efforts to promote you, and vice versa. And there's a lot of people out there that want to reach your audience, but just they can't. So, you have to find a balance. So I'm going to give you some examples. So if somebody is a travel planner and you love wine, or you love adventure, or you love art, and your passion is creating experiences, special groups, and that kind of thing in travel that are centered around those niches, then you want to find stores and brands that have a really strong and loyal customer base. So that's what you want to do. You want to get people engaged, and you want to find people that don't necessarily know what you're doing yet, but might be attracted to it because they have an interest in something that relates to it. So I'm going to use the wine as an example. There's a wonderful, sort of a chain wine stores here. I think it's a regional chain here in New Jersey. And it's a wonderful wine shop with lots of gift baskets and cheeses. And the owner is very, very engaged, and people relate to him. And there would be a great opportunity for someone to partner with this store and say, okay, if you're in travel, I have an exceptional wine journey, and we're going to delve into all of the wine regions in Hungary that are sort of under the radar, and we're going to visit with the owners of these cellars, and they're going to take us and show us their processes, and we're going to get special access to places nobody has and special blends. We're going to get to make our own wine. Say you've created an itinerary like this. What do you do with it? You can market it yourself, but it is a smarter play to pitch this to a wine store like the one I'm talking about. And that wine store has a really long, strong, loyal customer base. These are people, the people that love them are the people that love wine, and they sign up for their newsletters and their Twitter updates and their Instagram updates and all of that to be able to hear what is new. So imagine if that store was working with you promoting this particular journey. Say it was only a 10 to 16 packs journey. And that, that particular wine shop has a mailing list of 100,000 people or so. Chances are they're probably going to help you fill it. Now, why would they do this for you and with you? Because you're going to give something to them. So if you're creating a group, cost in 2 free spots. It's very simple. Just adjust your pricing, your net pricing, and base it on a small number of people so that, you only need a few to break even and make a profit, and tell them if they fill 6 to 8 spots, 2 people, from their company get to go on this trip for free. Nearly everybody loves travel. Nearly everybody wants to be traveling, and especially for free. If you've costed it in, are you kidding me? I mean, anybody would do this. You could do this with an adventure trip and an adventure gear brand. You can do it all sorts of ways. So, I mean, there's so many ways you can play this. And then what you do is you both create an agreement that whatever leads result as as a result of the cross promotion, as a result of what you're doing, and as a result of what they're doing, both of you share that list with each other. And you have to, make sure that you put your proper permissions when people, I'll talk about this in a minute, how you collect the right kind of data and make sure that it's solid. But you both agree that whoever's collecting this data, that it will be shared between you both. So this way you're both growing your email list. And what you want to do is when you're doing this, you have to make sure that you drive any kind of partnership promotion. Say the wine shop's doing an email and you're doing an email, and where are people going to go to get more information? You want to drive them to a page that collects the user's information. So you want to drive them to a page that has, a spot for them to put their name, their last name, their email address. Maybe you want to ask a question, first, if it relates to some sort of promotion or a level of interest in something, or maybe not. Maybe you just want to collect their email addresses and phone numbers. You drive it to a page, and I use a brand called Lead Pages, and I'll go into this now actually, to be able to collect that data. So this way, when you create a landing page, it has everybody's, opportunity to put their information in. It puts it in one neat little nice database, and then the both of you can share that at the end of the day. Now, when you're collecting data, it is really important that you have, when you do a landing page, or when you put a link and figure out where people are going to go to be able to sign up for any promotion that you're doing. Like I said, I use Lead Pages, which is very affordable, and you can create tons of those pages yourself that collect all your data. I use Lead Pages, but you can use anything really. It is very important that you put quite a few disclaimers and make sure that you get your proper permissions when you drive anybody to a page. So when you're asking somebody for your email address, or for their email address, you want to make sure that you have an easy reference for them to access your privacy policy, which probably is on your website already. You should put reference to it with a link. You want to maybe put a check mark box before they hit submit that tells that informs them that by giving you their email address, they are agreeing wholeheartedly to be able to receive communications from you and any of your partners involved in this promotion. You have to make sure you're both doing that, especially on the other side too. That is a really important part of any promotional effort, and also your own things. When you're trying to collect data and you're driving people to a sign-up page, you have to make sure, you have to assure them that you're not going to use those email addresses anywhere else. You have to assure them that they're not going to be spammed. You have to remind them that they are committing to receive data and that they can unsubscribe at any time. Now, there are other rules in Europe. You might have heard of GDPR. I'm not going to go into that because this conversation is really centered around US-based marketing. But, be mindful if you are going to market outside of the country. Many countries and many, unions and associations have their own laws that are very comprehensive when it comes to email marketing. So you must please do your research. If you need to speak to your attorney, that's fine, and do that kind of stuff. So make sure that you are compliant in every single way to accommodate the world when you're collecting data. That is, I will just leave it there, but you must make sure that you are. And the way that you can do that, especially just with local advertising, is making sure that you have that disclaimer box that people are opting in and that they acknowledge that. Another way to sort of, amplify your messaging and collect data, this could be for followers on social media and also on your email list, is to use, if you're doing a giveaway or something like that, or a promotion, there's platforms out there that help you amplify your message. So there's one called Viral Sweep I've used for a long time. And they had always been able to, you would do a giveaway, say you had 3 nights at a hotel or something like that. You would be able to use their platform, and they would create sort of like a bunch of links and a bunch of pages for you to use to promote. They would allow you to collect your own data, but their software and their rhythms would make it so that when somebody signed up for a promotion or to be part of a giveaway, they could have an option to socially share it. Like, get more entries if they share it on Facebook, if they share it on Instagram, that kind of stuff. Then they would effectively be sharing your website further. They'd be sharing, your promotion and all your socials further too. And then more eyeballs per person, per person that comes there to your page, more eyeballs would be seeing this particular promotion. So it's a way to sort of amplify your messaging and perhaps not only just increase your email list, but also increase your social visibility, because you also want to get social followers too. That's a whole nother workshop. We'll go into that another time. So this is really just for leads. So think about what kind of cross-promotional partnerships you can put together with people to both, mutually benefit. And travel is something, trust me, always people want to travel, and they want to travel for free. So if you're dangling, you have the power to do that when you're creating a group and handling the pricing. So a great additional way to collect emails is when you show people that you are the expert, not in an annoying way, but in a fun way. And the way that you do that is thinking about what are some things that you know better than anyone else. And when you find that, you create a 1-page kind of ebook or 1-page or 2-page really nice document. It could be an easy PDF. You can use Canva, which I recommend. It's, that's an amazing program to design things in a little, with all these great templates, and then use that message to create something of value that somebody would want to give you their email address for. Why would I put my email address in for anything? Sometimes I'm searching. I live a keto lifestyle. It means I'm always like, not so much dieting, but just watching the carbs and stuff. So there are so many times where I'm scrolling through the internet and I say, oh my gosh, this keto plan is best, or I can, 10 top keto recipes. Sometimes I'm bored in the kitchen and I'm like, all right, I need some new recipes. I will go on that site and I'll give my email address because I want those recipes. And what will happen is I'll put my email address. Automatically, I'll know that somebody's adding me to their list. But in 5 minutes time, somebody has sent me an automated message with a page of 10 recipes, and I'm happy. And then you know what? If I don't like their email newsletter, I can subscribe at any time. Chances are I won't, but I can. So you want to be able to do that. So you have to give something for free that teaches somebody something, and that also shows people that you are an expert. So there's how do you do this? You can say you can do it, you can put it together, but then how do you get it out? That's something that you really have to think about too. You have to get the messaging out. So if you have great social feeds, you want to post a bunch of different things all over every page that you own and say, look, I'm giving this away. Just put your email here and I'll show you. Like I know, accountants that have, lists of top 10 ways to save money on your business taxes, that kind of stuff. And they build their email because everyone wants to know that. I did something a couple times that was very successful. If you know me at all, I never check bags. I take a carry-on everywhere. Doesn't matter if I'm traveling for 2 days or like 2 weeks, I can pretty much live out of a carry-on and a great, great backpack. So lots of people, and I know a lot of other things too, but that happens to be one that drew a ton of attention. So I put together this list of how you can pack a carry-on for any trip, and then I paired it with a video. I posted this thing all over the place. I just shared it in any group I was in, and I did the video in my bedroom. I just literally packed a bag, and then I put a digital list together with top tips. Let me tell you what happened. So this is a while ago. You can see how many people were reached, almost 20,000. And the videos, like the video downloads have, I think they're up to around 20 or 21,000, but that happened immediately. That video has been around for a while, but that was something that vaulted immediately because people wanted to see, how the heck do you pack a carry-on with all of your stuff? And if you know me too, I wear a lot of heels. How do you put all your shoes in? There's ways to do it, and I have my methods. So that was something people wanted to know, and they gave me their email address for. A couple of other things: 5 top tips of traveling to Europe, how to travel to Asia with kids when it opens up again, what are the 10 best hotel room views around the world, and again, how to pack a carry-on. So that resulted in a lot of new visibility, a lot of email addresses. So think about how you can make someone's life a lot easier, a lot better by sharing something meaningful that and be able to, to give them tips. And then you're sort of passively selling. You're promoting yourself, but not hard. You're not selling any travel at that moment. You're just sharing how you know your stuff. And that might not translate, that could translate into an immediate email sign up. It may not translate immediately to business, but that's because somebody just might not be ready. They might be following you. You never know who's watching you, and they will call you when they're ready. And that's all you need to know. You just want to keep staying out there and giving people some cool stuff. All right. So I mentioned capturing the lead. I'm going to go through this again because this is important. None of this will work for you if you don't have a place to capture any of your leads. So as I mentioned, I use lead pages. There's a ton out there. I just happen to find that user-friendly. Not related to them in any way. I've had success with it. So whatever platform you use, you have to build customized pages that capture the leads that you're working on. So for instance, when I put a couple of Facebook posts out with that, how to pack a carry-on or why I never pack a carry-on and that kind of thing, I drove it to a page that looked like this. It was very simple. And so people clicked on a link every time I shared that message, ready to get your free guide, tips and recommendations on making packing a carry-on easier than ever, benefits of never having to wait or pay for a check bag again, and expert advice to avoid the mistakes we made when we lost items. So people wanted this for a few reasons. First, they wanted to know because they want to travel quicker, and especially with, nowadays with restrictions and baggage fees and all this, people just, they want to take a carry-on. And then it's a pain point. I'm addressing a couple of pain points. I made mistakes in the past, when I checked bags, and so did all of us. We lost things. So you're addressing a solution to something that's bothering somebody, and you can do this in any medium. Like say you're a child expert, or a behavioral expert, and, you want to put things out to moms and say, okay, I cannot get my kid to, to do their homework on time or whatever it is, or I can't get my kid doesn't ever want to try new foods. I mean, there are a million documents that are floating out there that address something that is bothering somebody. Find a way to fix it, make it free, and then allow people to engage with you. This is a passive way. I mean, they're going to give you their e-newsletter, their email address. They're going to read your stuff. They're not directly connecting with you, but from there on in, you got them. And you're going to be able to market to them and share your e-newsletter with them. Webinars are another really, really big way to make your mark. They are a great way to communicate all that you know. Again, what do you know best? What do you want to talk about? And what can you teach somebody? And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Always make them free. So I know some people charge, for various types of big events, and there's seminars and things like that. But if it's a brief webinar, if you can do like free or a somewhat of a charge once you start to build your base. If you're starting from zero and you haven't done it, try it for free. But once you start to create more engaged content and more things that make a lot of sense moving forward to be able to build on certain niches, then you want to start to build course ideas and that type of thing. So find a way to do that. Pick a subject that you know a lot about, and then just promote the heck out of it. You can pre-record it. You can create things like a YouTube channel and upload it so that people can find you at any time and be able to watch you on demand, because everybody's schedules are different. Not everybody's going to be able to see you live. But if you put it somewhere and you get people to register in advance to get access, then you're going to be able to draw a bigger audience, and you're going to be able to sort of hold it to that, people can get access to this wonderful content online if they register. So this way you have their email and you're able to sort of share with them and tell them when they can go and see it and have fun. So make those webinars evergreen, make them, always relevant, for a very lengthy period of time. Find a way to upload them and share them, easily, and then find a way to tie it to a registration page so that people can continue to add their emails to be able to get access to that page. Don't make it public viewing, but make it for, available for private viewing. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. We have so much, more to go through, but this was sort of like a nice overview for you to take step by step. I'm always available. Email me at any time, info@truemarketing.com. We love talking about all of this stuff. We love sharing what we know. And it's been so much fun to talk about this. And I'm happy to talk further with you at any time. But this has just been, I appreciate your time. And again, info@truemarketing.com if you want to chat further about any of these topics. I wish you good luck.